Shania Edwards, student number 9030842. Interview 14th of December 2020, time 4:48. Why do I want to work for L'Oreal? L'Oreal is a dynamic and fast moving company, and growing up, it was a company that and a brand that I saw a lot. And I remember going through, when I was younger, going through my mum's products and seeing, her L'Oreal products and sampling on my skin to try and look and feel and resemble the models that I saw in the advertising campaigns. So it would be a real honor to be able to work for a company that has, played such a big part in my childhood. But even more than that, I feel like what initially attracted me to pick L'Oreal was the scandal that they've recently been involved in. The biggest thing I think that I really connected to was the scandal regarding L'Oreal's stance on Black Lives Matter. As a young black woman, the accusations that L'Oreal faced, especially with the Monroe Bergdorf situation, was very impactful, and it spoke a lot to me about the beauty industry and how it affects people that are not as represented in the media. And although there was a lot of scandal around it, for me personally, I feel like L'Oreal has always tried to include a lot of representation in their marketing campaigns, which is something that I personally respect and is something that I would love to be able to continue developing for other young girls who are also going to be growing up looking at L'Oreal products and seeing the impact that not only L'Oreal has, but other beauty companies as well. And so I think that I would be able to bring some creativity and insight and also perception and how the beauty companies impacted me and help develop that and change it to make L'Oreal one of the best brand factually. Give me an example of how you've used your communication skills effectively. So I previously worked for Zara in Stratford Westfield, which was just by the Olympic Park. So one day it was the Paralympics was happening, and we tend to get a lot of international customers. Now, I studied French and Spanish in school, and I am continuously developing my French and Spanish skills. So, and I had the opportunity to use them once the international customers came in. So on the radio, someone asked, "Is there any Spanish speakers?" Now, Zara is famous for having a lot of international European employees. So there was loads of employees that they could have went to that were fluent speakers. However, I was the nearest one, and I was able to overcome the problem that I'd been faced with and communicate to the customer what they needed to know, which was a very proud experience for myself because I'm not fluent at all. I was a beginner and still am a beginner Spanish student, and so my patience and my, I guess, greater understanding of the culture, the Spanish culture as well, the little habits or hand movements that was able to get me to understand what the customer was saying and, give the best customer service experience that I was able to give. So that was an example that I'm very proud of. Given this example of when you were creative. So I worked for a company called Fox in a Box, originally hired as a games master, but got promoted to a digital marketing assistant. So what that meant is the company was a startup, so there was no real marketing department or even someone who was doing marketing for the company, which meant that when I mentioned I was a digital marketing student, the CEO promoted me into that role. And it meant that I had a lot of room to play around with different and new ideas in order to help the company build some awareness, as it was the first Fox in the Box escape room in London, and I believe the UK at the time. And so one of the ideas that I came up with was to start a YouTube channel going through escape rooms, because escape rooms were still fairly new. Not a lot of people knew about it, but as I was watching people complete the escape rooms, I noticed that there's a lot of humor and ridiculous things that go on in an escape room. People tend to forget there's a camera and there and a microphone there, so we tended to hear a lot of funny things that would go on. And my connections with people that work in for TV, as I was talking to them, we had good conversations, and we realized that actually it would be a good idea for an own show. So we decided that we would start off on YouTube, and then take it from there. And to this day, Fox in the Box is still using that idea, even though I no longer work for them, which is something I'm very, very proud of. So like I've said previously, one of the skills and experiences that I can bring to the role is that I have a little bit of experience already. So like I said, I've worked as a digital marketing assistant before, and also I've interned at Zara in their public relations department. So I kind of have a little bit of background and experience in the role. How I can apply this to L'Oreal is, although L'Oreal is a beauty brand, and I've never worked for a beauty company before, my experience in the fashion world with Zara really gave me insight into into ways in which marketing can be applied in that world. A lot of the values that fashion companies hold, like at Zara and Bershka and Pull and Bear, are things that can be translated into the beauty industry. And my knowledge with campaigns and exploring SEO and that sort of thing that I've learned at uni can also be applied to how I can approach working and developing ideas at L'Oreal. What do you feel your biggest weakness is, and how could we help you overcome it? One of my biggest weaknesses, I would say, is using certain computer publications like Excel. However, I have undergone some online courses in it, and I'm starting to sort of comprehend how we can apply Excel to the digital marketing world. In terms of applying pay-per-clicks and that sort of thing, and using that to predict future trends. And so even though that's my biggest weakness, it's something that I'm actively trying to overcome, and I think I could work with other departments to try and collaborate with that. But all the weaknesses that I currently have in that thing, I'm actually trying to take courses in to overcome them. So I think just further support in that area would help me. Do you have any other questions for me?